Alright, hello. Ooh, you can hear me now. Right, see. I got a little bit of range issues with stuff on the HDMI, but hey. So, 3D printing. It's was originally put in for one of the random talks, one things like that, so it's not really cybersecurity related. It's ranty, it's the stuff that you do when you're bored, when you're looking at tech, when you're doing that kind of stuff. So, who am I? I'm Ben Docherty. I do cybersecurity. More important, techno womble for 10 plus years. It's what my family calls me. I am the guy that's wandering around with the wheelbarrow full of random kit at the back of units and scavenging stuff. I have made all kinds of stuff, geodesic domes, all kinds of stuff. On with a printer for the past 7 years. Printers are freaking excellent. Rapid prototyping. The accessibility to that has made people who have, especially neurospicy printers, but people who like a bit of project, like a bit of design, it's made it accessible. If you don't have a 3D printer, buy one. You can pick them up I think that's about 200-300 quid worth of kit there. And they're cracking. Holder of many printer related scars. So I did say I wanted to show one off, but it looks like it's faded now, so it's good. They fade in 5 years, woo! And maybe ever so slightly involved in this. Just ever so slightly. That's gonna cause issue. Sod it. Bed alignment. So, what's about this talk? It's a rant. Oh, sorry. I'll try not to do that. It's a rant. 30 minutes of essentially babble, now 20 minutes because of the time down. As one of you learned from my fails moments, I'm a very learn from my fails person. That's how I learn. I need to fail hard, and I need to learn from it. Round prototype 3D print rocks. 3D design, don't get scared of it. If you know how to draw something out, you know how to design 3D. I'm not going to go into 3D design, of course, but hey, of course, this talk. Focusing on this real talk. Sorry about no cybersecurity content. Heated bed hot. Hot ends are hotter. Printers don't care if your squish bit's in the way of it and you told it to do something, it just moves. Stepper motors are surprisingly strong. Yeah. Your printer doesn't hear you scream. Your partner might and give you a call at 2 in the morning and say, why am I hearing screaming come from outside? Do I need to call an ambulance? But your printer doesn't give a crap. Do you want to tap it for me? Yeah. Cool. Right, so, so this talk's very much history of what I've done, 3D printers, that kind of stuff. So you'll hopefully learn some things. But yeah, we'll start from the beginning. Where did it all come from? What I renamed Frankie was originally, those of you that are slightly geeky will realize that board is a Tronxy XY100. It's an 8-bit board. 3D printers nowadays are 32-bit. That was slow. When I first got it, it didn't have a heated bed. That was a nightmare. For people that know 3D print, you need to get the bed hot so it sticks to things. If you're on a cold bed with glass, and don't slaver the thing in print stick, it just does work. So that was my first project. Dave, give us it. Dave, people might know DZ, involved in other B-Sides events. But I was coming back from B-Side in London, and he goes, stop by my house, I've got a toy to give you. Give us that. It makes it to my house, and within a week, I've ordered a hotbed for it. I got a hotbed. That's a Christmas decoration print out there, actually. And it ended up quite modified. This little Raspberry Pi. I'll mention that in a little bit. Sorry, no. That's control board. Had a control board on it. I upgraded from the 8-bit to a 32-bit, and threw a Raspberry Pi on it as well. Where's the next one? Yeah. Sorry, I'm shooting through things because I'm trying to be a bit quick and catch up from fail. So, what to do? After I had the first toy, I had the first Lady one. It came Christmas, so I bought a printer. People may recognize that as, 6 years old, Ender 3 V2 Pro off the top of my head. That printer you will see again, but it will not look like that. Various stuff I used the printer for. Those of you that have been to the BattleBots thing, that was the year 2 arena. That one toured around the UK and up in Ireland for a bit. But yeah. 3D print hiding in the back with the other Frankie sitting there. That used to be my geodesic dome setup. It was great for my printing. It's quite important with 3D printing. You can approach it from one of kind of two different ways mainly. You either want something that does a tool. You want a tool that does a job, that goes off the prints, bang. You send stuff to it, bang, done. Send to it, bang, done. That's what the more closed source. That's what the Bambi Labs are great for. Perfect printer for that. I don't just want a tool that does something. I want something that breaks. That was my printer. It now lives with Tim and Lewis. It's boring. It's the most reliable printer I have. It's all that, but it's boring. I'm a modder, but whenever you're a printer modder, you need two printers. I know it sounds stupid, but build yourself one. But once you can't really have a moddy play with one as your main one, because you'll always want to add something to it. You'll always want to do that. Early one with Frankie, I left, because I used to print in my shed. I left the heater pointing at the 3D printer to keep it hot overnight. And came back in the morning and realized, yes, the arm on the top, the house things that raises up. And when that hits where the heater is, the PLA that's made out of melts. So I ended up with an end. It didn't stay that way for long. Flickety flick, please. And then we get into slightly more techy things. When I got that, it was around about the same time that I found Clipper. Clipper is awesome. Not much use if you close source, but if you open source, essentially you install Clipper firmware onto your control board and it treats it like any dumb printer, almost like a printer attached to your computer. It's a device that you tell it what to do. All of the actual commands, the working out of the G code, all of that side is done on the Raspberry Pi. So that does all your processing, gives you a lot of other funky things, like you can put cameras on it. You can pay for, if you want, you can do some of the things you want. You do auto detection, you can do remote access, you can start actually accessing them over the network. Every printer I own runs some version of Clipper. I don't use Octoprint right now, but it was where I started. And the builders for building the firmware is nice and easy. It isn't something that you need to get too daunted by. It's all right, build firmwares. And I prefer it way over what's the kind of standard Marlin build where all of the processing straight on the controller. Offload that process and just lets you enable a few more features so you get cleaner, quicker prints. Flick it. And talkies for that. Cool. So now we get into kind of the toys, the playing. I had a few printers. What do I start to do? So I decided, well, I'm going to build my own 3D printer because why the hell not? So started as a little bit of a muck around with 2020, the frame for it. In the end, there is a 3-to-1 hot end. So there's 3 tube bits going in, kind of like this one has 4. 3 tube bits going in. So 3 different colors into the one hot end, and that all squirts out the same nozzle. Kind of worked. It was crap. It was utter crap. I'll mention a little bit about different types of dynamics for printers, different types of ways to work, but it was kind of basic Cartesian. You've got an X, you've got a Y, you've got a Z. Yeah, it had 2 Zs, but they were mapped to the same one. It was super, super basic. It didn't really do that much, but it was playing. It was 20, 30 quid's worth of 2020, a few bits off Amazon and bits that I left off of other printers I took apart. Play with your pots. Find a way to do it. Let's muck around with this. That's one of the massive things that I love about 3D printing. You're not stuck with what you've got. You're not like, my printer can't print TPU because it's not direct drive. Great. Print the adapter for it. Work out the thing for it. You can make it. It's a 3D printer. It's rapid prototyping. Next. Oh, yes. And then we get a kind of the full mod. I said you'd see the End 3 again, but you may not recognize it. That's what happened to that End 3. It's where I start getting to kind of actually playing with things territory. That is what's called the switchwire mod. Instead of having a separate X, Y, Z axis, that's switched over to, and I always get this wrong. I always get Z and Y confused. Will always can happen. That's a Core X, Y printer? I can't remember which one's the back and forth. But yeah, so essentially you've got 2 steppers that live in the bottom, and they both are wired all the way up, down, over, and essentially, in a kind of A shape. And they're both used, so you run one on its own, and it'll run diagonal. You run them both left, both right, one left, one right, and you get your full movement out of it. That's a lot lighter, because you're not having to put a stepper on the end. You're not having to put more weight on it. And with 3D printers, when you talk about speed, it's all about weight. how light you can get because you're slinging that thing backwards and forwards. If it's a load of weight on the hot end, then you've got the inertia of that moving. You've got to start accounting for things like that. You've got to start putting in ADMXs and start worrying about a lot of the features that I'm not going to get into, but feel free to pick my brains out later. That was essentially a Voron. So that's the name of the hot end bit there. It's direct drive, had a pretty decent hot end in for it. There's lots of different options, but that's essentially an open source kit. All the bits you can pick up on the GitHub, or you can pick up on that. The kit itself with the linear rails, which is the biggest upgrade you can do to a printer, give it proper rails, cost us, I think it was about 100 odd quid, and the printer itself was already there. Oh yay, no trying to copy my keys, please. Security fail. Right, next. So the switch wire was what I decided to do, one of them. And then my brain got bored and I wanted things. So I decided I'd never had Delta printer. That's that thing at the end. The FL7. I did want to bring one of those. Sorry, damn. Didn't swear. Damn. My kids aren't in this talk. It's great. I'd never tried a Delta printer. Totally different design, totally different dynamic. Doesn't run on your base. Well, everything runs on X, Y, Z for coordinates, but doesn't run on you have something, move it that way, you have something, move it that way. You've got three, I should have brought one, it's far easier to see, but essentially you've got three pillars, and in each of the pillars is a belt, a step at a rundown, and there's a fixed arm that goes towards the hot end. So by changing the heights of different ones, you can give the hot end full movement. Yay! Nah, they're for battles. I didn't say that out loud, so it doesn't count. No, I don't have to pay for that. So yeah, I started playing. Essentially every printer here, apart from the shop with all them in. Yes, my dome is a mess. Every printer here was less than 50 quid. It was pick it up at Facebook Marketplace, pick it up something like that. Just play, learn how they work, learn the dynamics of them and mod them. The CR10 that's there, the big bed one, that one you'll see again as a mod. That one there, the Ender 5, which is there, and they're sitting in my car on its way back home. They ended up as, what I'll show you in a minute, the Zero. From a very kind of basic printer that I'm picking up like 50, 60 quid, and a little bit of printed parts, a little bit of manual work, you can make it into essentially a high-end printer. Things like the Zero G, things like the E3NG, which we'll mention again in this, mods that you can do to really, what is entry-level printers, to make them high-end, to make them kind of pretty cool. Yeah, still good for time. Cool. So yeah, buying racks. My favorite rack was the MakerBot Replicator. It was a very, very, very early, you can see how old it just looked manky. I cleaned it up a little bit before I gave it to Lewis, but it was very, very early dual hot end printer. I mean, when that was new, it was too close to scale. When that was new, it was like 600-700 quid. Ripped everything out of it, used it as a frame. Great little printer. Still working and run away in Lewis's house now. Yeah, buying Rex. I encourage people to buy Rex and around with them. If you've got a little bit of money to play with and you've got the space for it, for 50 quid. I mean, I checked on Facebook Marketplace this morning. There was an Ender 3, like the first one that I mentioned, going for 25 quid. It's almost as cheap as the filament that goes into it. Get it, muck around with it, play with it. 3D print is super accessible. All right, next please. Cool. So yeah, and then I thought I wanted a belt printer. So some of you that may have been around Twitter a little bit during the early 2020s, before it got shit. Damn it, there's another file. Before it got not very good. We'll remember Naomi Wu. She was involved in the design of this printer. Basically, it's an infinite Z. So you're printing, instead of happening on a normal 3D printer, where you print it on the top and either the bed goes backwards and forwards or some form of movement like that, you've got a nice conveyor belt on the bottom. So all of your prints, and I can, there's some in the BattleBots ones, have weird lines on them at a 45 degree angle. Look a bit weird on the prints. Yeah, you can just set it away going. That is starting printing one of the BattleBots. That's how annoying the bed is to level on it. If it doesn't get adhesion, it just keeps printing. And because it's not got adhesion, it just fans out. You get some really, really weird fails on it. Not much spaghetti fails, but some really, really weird ones. It was like, I think it was about $250 on clearance from Creality. And I'd always wanted one. So I got one. It was a cool toy. I have never once printed anything bigger than the other printers that I have. My little one Dylan wants me to print a sword. Unfortunately, it's now in a location where I can't print a full-size sword. So yeah, a little bit of a pointless one, but a really fun project. Not quite finished overall, but yeah, comes nicely flat-packed. It was a cool toy. Cool toy. Yeah, it's fun toys to play with. Very much my 3D printers on my vent. They're my stuff I do when bored. Next! That one. It's really good. It's really quick. It's really stable, and it really works. If you want a tool to do a job, they're perfect for it. If you want a fun project, they're boring as holy hell. They're boring. Great printer, but just nothing to do. So that I had for a little while was my stable printer for a little while. That's ended up with Lewis. Some fun little printer. That quality photo is utter tat. Yeah, I never liked it, and I took photos of it, and I go, "Ooh, yeah, here's my new printer." It's a tool. But yeah, there's to show you how quick things are printing. During our talk, that should have printed off a little Cali cube, a little calibration cube for us. There's 20 odd minute print. But yeah, it's close source. They're quick. They do the job. They open up the accessibility of it. If you have, my kids want a one that says that, a slightly different one. But my kids are getting a Bamboo Labs one, because I don't want to have it fixed all the time. If you want a one for a tool for I like modeling, I like this, I like that, I want it to just work. Bamboo Labs are great. Other than that, boring. Next, please. Cool! Mainsail! We're getting into proper fun now. So yeah, Mainsail. I mentioned earlier, Octoprint. This is essentially the newer, better, all of that. You can still use an Octoprint. You can still add all these things through an add-in, but it's just infinitely better. Kaya popped up about a year ago, maybe a bit longer. You can just run it on your Pi and install everything you need to your Pi to do the control from it. It took all the config out of it. It's made it simple. You can do fun things like doing bed leveling and actually see what's up with the bed. So if your bed is terribly warped, you can actually see it. Or if you've got a bed where you've got alignment via the little screw bits on the bottom, you can see exactly what you need. Like when it gets proper messed up. That's not even bad, to be honest. And you can do cameras on it. You can multi-cameras. I did want to do some screenshots. That was weird. Yeah. Cool. I did want to do some screenshots of mine, but I've got a mini print farm set up at home with 5 printers currently working, another 2 on the side, and they're all video up. I have a little screen that shows me all of my print farms sitting at work as things are going, and it just makes me happy to just sit and watch it. But yeah, Mainsail, really, really cool utility. If you have a printer that isn't closed source, I would definitely recommend Clipper, Mainsail, Raspberry Pi next to it. You've got a network printer. You've got something you can hit there. Done. Wow, that was quicker than I thought. But yeah, calibration cube, done. It's how quick printers can just look. Hit next. I'm going to have to speed up for these last couple of ones. Yeah, so more rebuilds. I said you'd see the Ender 5 again. That's what it ended up as. So Core XY on the top. So you've got the 2 large steppers at the back. No weight on the gantry, barely. A small stepper motor on the actual direct drive, which is that. All very, very slim. That's crap photo, but all very, very slid out. Very, this is essentially my light printer for hot end, all skeletal frame. I do have, and I didn't get the new picture of it, a new gantry on it now, where even that bit of 2020 there is all skeletalized. So it's super, super light, and that's how you get them quick. That thing is an absolute beast. There is some things that I want to do to it. It's just got the 2Z on it still. There's a mod on when I fish it, where it's got 3, so it can do all kinds of pretty bed leveling. Very cool. But yeah, we'll skip past that one because I know time. The E3NG, another thing you can do with an Ender 3. This one, I thought I printed out. It's not got rails, because rails are really, really good. It's on rods this time. But they're either 10 or 12 mil rods. They're nice and rigid. And that printer is fast as hell. And plus, it's got triple Z on the bottom. With them all running on a separate stepper, that means that before you start print, you do an alignment where it picks up the alignment from closest point to each of those and then levels it. So if one Z's slightly out, it just goes weak and bunks it. It's really good because you can make it really wonky and then just let it fix it. It's nice to sit and watch. I have a thing about watching technology work. I sense a few of us do. Yeah. You skip to the next one. Sweet. So yeah, next one. This is what ended with Monster. So this is essentially off-script 0G upgrade. So what was mentioned before with the 0G, it's the same thing, but just building it off-script. The parts didn't fit, the frame wasn't the same, I had to bodge up the frame. As soon as you start mucking around with one, you realise that it's Meccano for big kids. That's it. It's just easy, it's all 2020 frame, it's all bold, it's all simple. All linear rails, all that kind of stuff. That one, and I've not got it in this talk because I didn't finish it. That one will end up 4-color printing with a nice open source 4-color AMS, which is, for those of you who don't know, this is an AMS. It's a bit that lets it do the multicolor printing. Obviously that's a Bamboo one, but yeah, I've got a nice open source one I'm working on that I didn't include in this talk because I'm an idiot. Nick. And then the kind of my most recent printer, I decided to treat myself a little bit. Didn't go super high end, didn't go to Bamboo because, but still close source. Weird thing about this printer, I got it, and the bit would not fucking align. Would not align. Persevered with it for a month, wouldn't align. I took it apart, I did like undid screws, put springs in, created little shims, printed shims to put in it so the bit got aligned. And then I realised there was a firmware update out for it. I'm a fucking moron. That's another fucker. I'm a moron. Firmware update fixed it. It's happened in my personal life. Yeah. Nothing being said about that. Firmware update your stuff. Hit next, please. Yeah, I'm good for time. I'm good for time. I'm almost finished. Right, problems. I would go into problems, but I decided to just kind of talk to me about it. If you want to find out about 3D printing, about, oh, my printer does this, I'm having this issue, give us a shout. Talk to me about it. It's good. Layer shifting on the end. So if back in the days of non-core XYs, if it was just an X and a Z, if your belts weren't tight enough, that's just the belt, skip it. Get some real weird stuff. That was an absolute nightmare fix. Sometimes, if the printer decides to just lose adhesion, then it just keeps, well, not sometimes, it just keeps squirting plastic, and you end up with this massive plastic notch that you need to use a hot knife, knife over the stove, and that to curve it off, and you still break the hot end when you take it out. But buy spare hot ends. As far as they're only cheap-ish. Depending on what you get. Buy spare hot ends, use them. And occasionally you just get stuff that you just gotta get the drill out for. No idea how I was gonna get that out. I tried putting it in the oven, it didn't work. I just got the drill out. Worked. Gone down. But yeah, there's bed adhesion, there's all kinds of stuff. Major things to think about. Flip to the next slide. I think they're in that one. I'm nearly wrapped QA now. Sweet. So yeah, major things to think about. It's leveling the bed. As long as the bed's level, you'll get good adhesion most of the time. Think about PER sheets as well. If you're doing print on glass, PER is far easier to print onto. And look at different types of sheets. That one is a cold sheet right now, which is excellent for printing TPU. And a few other things, but you put it on a hot machine, it's terrible for it. So yeah, really think about what you're doing. Use the right filament. I haven't really talked about filament much. I did mean to, but I've kind of cut it out with time. Use the right filament. You get all kinds of stuff. Come up and see it. We've got even like carbon fiber enriched PETG, which is really good for durable parts. There's probably ABS somewhere. There's TU, which is essentially you're printing flexible stuff, which is quite fun. Since we're getting to the end bit, I shall get this. Yeah. When you start printing with flexible stuff, you can start printing slightly bigger things and start mucking around with it. That is the entire, can't put it there. The entire frame of it is able to take a bend, is able to take a hit. I can basically, just pull the screw out. I can basically bend it all, smash it off things, and it just works. There's different types of TPU you can get, but use the right one for the right job. That's a slightly tough one. You can get ones that, if any of you have seen the tank tracks or the battle bots, all of that's been printed out of this, and different stuff. And then there's slightly more fun parts. So ABS and kind of stuff's great for masks, gives you a lot of durability. You do get warping, you do get something like that, but do end up looking quite good. Feel free to play with everything. Will be over in the bots bit at the end. I know I've got a thingy off the top. One I've learned from experience, keep your slicer profiles backed up. I've not really mentioned what a slicer is, because short version of the talk. But essentially the slicer is your software that you use to convert this from a 3D file into your printer. It's a bit of software that you put in your computer, you put your files in there, and it converts it to go into your printer. Keep them updated. You will find yourself, I'll make this tweak, I'll make this tweak, I'll make this tweak, and then you rebuild your machine or you change thing and you've lost the profile and you need to spend a month getting everything back running. Keep them updated. Mod, upgrade, play. If you get a stock printer, start playing with it, start doing bits to it. Even that, they took it off. Even that bit had little rotating skull on it, had little bits. Yes, it's close us, but there was little things could do. Things like what I did with the Ender 5, the Ender 3, that kind of stuff. You can do that. You make high-end printers from low-end parts, basically. And as I said, the hot end may be very, very hot. 200-300 degrees, gets hot, makes burns, hurts hand. Careful. Cool. On the last one, and that's questions. Right. I appreciate that I'd put out a few things I did want to talk about there, and I'd slim the time down a bit. But questions off anyone? Or have I bored you enough that you never want to hear about 3D print again? Yes. Finally, take one, pass them around. Just zigzag it. Fidget toy for everyone that decided to put their way through my talk, because you all deserve something for putting up with me for so long. I know I'm going. I'm about to get chased out by Kat, and she's dangerous and has her thing, so yeah. Right. Yes. So, thank you all for coming to my talk. Please grab a fidget toy on the way around. I should have probably had them out a little bit sooner. But yes, feel free to ask me about 3D printing, and hope you've enjoyed it. Oh, thank you.